What happens to your mood when you journal every night for 2 weeks? Some nights, your mind won't stop talking, replaying the same worries, the same regrets, the same noise. No filters, no audience, just you and the truth you've been avoiding all day. Stick around till the end, because by the time we're done, you'll see why this simple nightly ritual could change not just your mood, but how you see yourself. The first night, meeting your mind. It starts awkwardly. You open a notebook, you stare at the page. Your brain whispers, "What do I even write?" That's how it always begins: confusion, hesitation, maybe even resistance. Because for the first time in a while, you're not scrolling, not watching, not distracting yourself. You're listening. And that's when it hits you. Your thoughts are loud. So you write. You write what annoyed you today, what scared you, what you can't stop replaying. By the time you stop, you feel lighter. Not happy, but less heavy. That's the first crack in the wall you've built around your emotions. Psychologists call this emotional unloading. It's the first step toward better mental clarity, and within just one night, your brain starts to recognize journaling as a safe space. Days 2 to 3, the fog before the calm. Now the emotions start coming faster. You find yourself writing about things you didn't even realize still bothered you, an old argument, a mistake from years ago, a name that still makes your stomach twist. This part is messy. You might even feel worse before you feel better. But here's the secret. That's part of the process. When you put your thoughts on paper, your brain is forced to organize them. It's like sorting a chaotic room. At first, it looks worse, but soon, order begins to appear. Researchers at the University of Texas found that expressive writing, the kind that digs deep, helps the brain process emotional pain and reduce its intensity over time. So if you feel uneasy during these early days, good. That means you're doing it right. You're not just writing words, you're detoxing your mind. Day 4, the shift begins. Something changes around the 4th day. The pen doesn't feel as heavy anymore. The blank page feels less intimidating. You start noticing patterns. You write, "I got irritated again today." Then you pause and realize you've written that for 3 days straight. You start to see yourself more clearly. And that awareness, it's powerful. Studies show that people who journal regularly gain higher emotional intelligence, meaning they become better at recognizing and naming their feelings. And when you can name your emotions, you control them, instead of letting them control you. You might even notice that you're a little calmer during the day. That's something that would normally ruin your mood barely scratches the surface. Why? Because your brain knows, "I'll write about it tonight." That simple thought stops emotions from boiling over. Days 5 to 7, the mirror stage. By the end of the first week, something almost magical happens. You start looking forward to writing. That notebook becomes a mirror, not for your face, but for your soul. Each night, you meet yourself again. The raw, unfiltered version. The one who laughs too little, worries too much, but still tries every day. And something unexpected happens. You start to feel compassion for that version of you. Researchers call this the rise of self-compassion, and it's one of journaling's biggest gifts. It's when you stop beating yourself up and start saying, "I understand why I felt that way." This shift in mindset improves mood dramatically. You stop judging your emotions as good or bad, and instead, you just observe. For the first time, you're not fighting your thoughts. You're befriending them. Days 8 to 10, the sleep connection. Now let's talk about something unexpected: sleep. If you've ever laid in bed replaying the day, worrying about tomorrow, or overthinking a single conversation, you know how restless nights feel. But by this point, journaling starts changing that. Because you've spent your evening unloading your mind onto paper, there's less left to haunt you when the lights go out. A study in the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that people who wrote about their thoughts before bed fell asleep faster and slept deeper than those who didn't. Think about it. Journaling works like emotional housekeeping. You're not carrying your mental mess into your dreams. And when you wake up, you start noticing you're a little less tired and a lot more emotionally steady. Days 11 to 13, mood stabilization. By the second week, your emotional rhythm begins to shift. You start noticing that you're not snapping at small things. You're not as anxious before big tasks. You still feel emotions, but they pass faster. It's like the difference between standing in a storm and watching it from inside. Research shows that consistent journaling can actually reduce stress hormones like cortisol and improve mood-regulating neurotransmitters. It's your body's way of saying, "I feel safe again." And here's the most fascinating part. Even if you don't try to be positive, your entries start sounding more optimistic. That's because your brain has begun rewiring itself toward clarity instead of chaos. You start writing lines like, "Today was tough, but I handled it better than before." That's not coincidence, that's growth, written in real time. Day 14, the reflection. 2 weeks later, you flip through the pages. The first entries are messy, heavy, chaotic, full of frustration. But as you turn each page, you notice something. Your handwriting softens, your tone changes. You've gone from venting to understanding. And in that realization lies the quiet miracle of journaling. Because journaling doesn't erase your problems. It rewires how you respond to them. It doesn't promise happiness, it teaches you awareness. You start realizing your mood didn't magically lift overnight. It evolved, gradually, quietly, with every page you filled. You've learned to release what doesn't serve you. You've learned that feelings, no matter how painful, pass. And most importantly, you've learned that you can face your thoughts and still be okay. The unexpected benefits. After 2 weeks, many people report side effects they didn't expect. More creativity. Your mind feels freer to explore. Better focus. With fewer mental tangles, your attention sharpens. Stronger gratitude. You start naturally noticing the good moments to write about. Improved communication. Because you've learned to express emotions clearly on paper, you start doing it in real life too. It's like building emotional muscles you didn't know you had. But what if you miss a night? Here's the truth. Journaling isn't about perfection. If you miss a night, you don't fail. Just come back to it. The power lies not in writing every night flawlessly, but in returning to yourself consistently. Even 5 minutes of writing is enough to calm a racing mind. Even one paragraph can remind you, "I'm still here, I'm still trying." How to make it work for you. If you want to try this 2-week challenge, here's how to make it powerful. Find a notebook that feels good to write in. Set a time, ideally before bed. Write for 5 to 20 minutes. Don't edit, don't judge, just write. And each entry with one of 2 questions. What did I learn today? What am I grateful for right now? That's it. You don't need perfect words, you just need honesty. Because your journal isn't about creating something beautiful, it's about creating space inside your mind. The real change. By the end of these 2 weeks, you might notice small miracles. You wake up with less mental fog. You smile more often, not because everything is fine, but because you've made peace with what's not. That's what journaling does. It turns your chaos into clarity, your tension into truth. And once you start, you might never stop, because you'll realize this wasn't just writing. It was a quiet conversation with your soul. So here's your challenge. Tonight, grab a notebook. Write one honest paragraph. Do it again tomorrow. And again for 2 weeks. You might think it's just ink on paper, but give it time. Because somewhere between your first word and your last, you might just find yourself again. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What's the first thing you'll write about tonight? Your story starts with 1 page.